we're looking at the situation regarding managerial appointments, managerial vacancies. Of course, there is one at Leeds United, there is one at Leicester City, maybe not much longer at Leicester City, because we now hear that Leicester this morning close to appointing Manchester City's coach Enzo Maresca as their new manager. Personal terms reportedly now agreed. So that's an interesting route they are going down, or that they seemingly are choosing to go down. Promotion specialists such as Roy Hodgson, Sam Allardyce and others, maybe Warnock, but Warnock stays on at Huddersfield. Are they beginning to become a thing of the past, or are they still with us?
I don't know why Roy Hodgson really brought into the bracket of promotion specialists, but I have always felt that a lot of these promotion specialists also turn into relegation specialists as well, because a lot of the teams they get promoted tend to get relegated the following season.
Yeah,
I just think there's good managers and capable managers, and there isn't. And in the instance of someone that gets promotion or saves a football club from relegation, which is often the case in recent times that Warnock's doing, going into football clubs like Rotherham and Cardiff and Huddersfield and wherever else he's been in recent times, and suddenly rescued the situation from relegation, is just about competent, good managers. Some of the football management that we are led to believe is so revolutionary is a bit like the Emperor's New Clothes.
Yeah.
It isn't really as revolutionary or as evolutionary as people think it is. It's just common sense. Neil goes into a football club, an example of Warnock, gets everybody on side, gets disenfranchised players that have been bombed by the previous manager. It's like the old saying, isn't it? All the angels rejoice in heaven when one sinner repents. And ultimately, if you get one player back on side, it brings a different dynamic to their thinking. Once they've been bombed and there's no futures, no here, and they bring them back on side, you get 10% more from them. So it's just common sense, and good managers exude a lot of that and are able to bring people together rather than alienate people.
It's just that Leicester, and you're right, it's a good point you make about Roy, not a promotion specialist, but you know what I mean, a very safe pair of hands.
Very safe pair of hands, yeah.
But the Italian Simon, Maresca, has been a first-team manager only once, a 14-game spell at Parma in 2021, highly regarded by Pep Guardiola. Yeah. So that in itself is a very much a sizable tick in the box.
Yeah.
But you know, when your aim is to go back up at the first attempt, is he the kind of man you want?
See, I'm one of those that gets a little bit wary and weary of this acolyte status of people that are associated with the top level managers subsequently have to be good. Karanka was Mourinho's mate, so he had to be good. Someone is Bielsa's mate, so he has to be good.
Steve McLaren with Sir Alex.
Someone has to be good because they're Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola is a phenomenal manager, no doubt about it. But managing a side where you're given all the best tools and making them stay online and being able to constantly refresh their mentality that they will play the way you want to is a gift, but also it's a pleasure to have the best players around you if you've got the capability of elevating above them. Now, coming from a coaching background, I'm assuming the guys at Leicester understand the reality of what they require and what is required to get a team back into some sort of order, not just in the Championship, but full stop, because the club has fallen away. The players have been allowed to put in performances for a significant period of time which are not befitting of their on-paper resumes, and so they've subsequently got precisely what they deserve, which is relegation to the Championship. So now a new dynamic is needed to be created, similar to Burnley. Sean Dyche went out the door. They had an interim period with Sean Dyche's assistant, and then they replaced him with Vincent Kompany. Right. Some would say, well, what does Vincent Kompany possibly know about managing in the Championship? He never went anywhere near it as a player. He's played for the best coach in the world at the moment in time, Guardiola, at Manchester City, and was an absolute leader amongst those players. He went to Anderlecht in an elite league and did okay there. But you know what? He's probably just a good leader and a good communicator.
No, but come on, he had 2 to 3 years experience before he took the Burnley job. Yes. This guy's got 14 games under his belt.
You also said to me when I talked about him going to Burnley, well, he didn't do very much at Anderlecht, did he? He wasn't exactly pulling up any trees. That was a conversation that you and I had last year. So yes, he's got managerial experience, but number twos at football clubs have also got an inordinate amount of managerial experience. What they tend to be is they tend to be the different ear. They tend to be a different tactical voice, right? So now we're asking him, can he take that different ear mentality, which might often be the softer approach, so the manager gets the opportunity to be aloof from the players and not too close at times. Yeah. Can he take that skill set? Because clearly he's got tactical ability. Yeah. Clearly you wouldn't be inside the inner workings of Man City if you didn't have that. The question is, when you interview someone like that, do they exhibit the traits of someone that's capable of leading when the muck and bullets start flying? And if that's the case, then it's irrelevant that he's not managed at this moment in time.
Sure. Get him in
the door.
I mean, he seems to be further up the list than the likes of Dean Smith, who's there, than the likes of Scott Parker, who might have wanted it, than the likes of Daniel Farke.
But we can work out why those questions may well be asked and then rejected.
Might have interviewed very well, which is something you stress.
Yeah, but how you interview someone is not let them put their interview face on and tell you whatever you want to hear. You get into the bones of what they do and don't think and put them into a place and space where you get the honest answers from them. Dean Smith being discounted. Well, Dean Smith's being discounted because his achievements at relegated Norwich was to give them a mid-table finish in the Championship first season back before getting the old Spanish archers. Right, so that's not necessarily a credential. Scott Parker, well, he can't keep his trap shut. So he's going to reap the whirlwind, and there is a legacy, and there's a bit of hypocrisy from me there, because ultimately he will now carry that stigma in people like mine in my eyes.
But he's also got 2 promotions in his resume.
Yeah, and he's also got himself in a situation where owners will think they can't possibly trust him, and he's also just got binned out of a Belgium club. So Belgium, I think it was a Belgium club he went to, wasn't it? Yeah. So with that in mind, his currency has diminished. So then maybe Scott has been the architect, and of course, he's entitled to redeem himself in the same way that my perspective on Marco Silva has changed.
Right. But what you have done is taken us into a space whereby Maresca,
well, again, unless you're sat across the table from somebody,
sure,
and interviewing them and understanding what you've got. Yeah. Every football club has a unique dynamic, which is they have a unique feel and fibre and fabric and set of requirements. And in this instance, Leicester City, I've managed to do an incredible act of self-harm, aided and abetted by a manager swanning off to Celtic. And now you've got a set of players that are going to be decimated because a few of them are going to go out the door, whether that be Maddison and Harvey Barnes or God knows whoever else, and Tielemans has gone as well. Yeah. So you're going to have the bare bones of a playing squad that resembled the Vardys of the world might stay and do their job and not just talk about it in the media, stay and go and bang in 25 goals in the Championship and help your side get out of the division. I think you've got a nice little blanket, a nice little canvas there. And if this fella isn't just all talk and platitudes like the fella was at Southampton, Ruben Sellis, and has got the chops to get down and dirty, get underneath the bonnet of a team that needs to reboot, and maybe we've seen it. We've seen the fact that the Championship isn't all just bite, bee and bark. It's also about the way you play it, because Burnley played their way through that division. They played out of that division.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.